Hi everyone, welcome to Moon Apogee Astrology with me, Shanna Cross. And this week we're going to be talking about the new moon in Libra. This new moon, while it's not an eclipse, might feel a little eclipsy. Maybe. There's definitely some things that are going to be coming to an end. There's going to be some disillusionment happening for sure. There's going to be maybe some relationship things going on. And as you can see here, right next to me is the new moon chart that I have pulled up. And so you notice there's no ascendant, there's no MC. I just wanted to keep it general, just to show you the aspects that are being made at the new moon, and we can talk about those, and then we'll dive into all 12 signs going forward. So this new moon, 2 degrees of Libra. So Libra is all about balance. It's about harmony. It's about mediation, negotiations. It's all about relating to other people. Not unlike, excuse me, sorry, the second week of school usually brings about colds and coughing and sinus stuff for the kids and I, because they pick stuff up at school. So that's what's going on there. But with Jupiter here in opposition to this new moon in Libra, it can feel a little oppositional, right? So oppositions by their nature are you and someone else. It could be conversations that maybe are going to be a little blown out of proportion because Jupiter is in Aries. And at the time of this new moon, Mars is moving towards its square with Neptune, and Mercury and Venus conjunction that is happening in Virgo. And so the opposition there would be with Neptune. A little bit of disillusionment, a little bit of maybe some strife, some conflict, something that needs to be cut out or cut away, depending on where this shows up for you when we get into all 12 signs. Depends on how, what needs to be cut out, what needs to be let go of in order for something brand new to come in. Before we hit that eclipse season that's coming up in Scorpio and Taurus, and that's going to be fun. Said no one. So to be transformational though. But this new moon specifically, I mean, it's not the worst, just because Venus is in a conjunction with Mercury. It does have a really nice trine over to Uranus over in Taurus and Pluto over in Capricorn. So it's this new moon, even though it is in opposition with Jupiter, the dispositor, right, which would be the planet that rules the sign that this new moon is happening in, is Venus. And Venus is in Virgo. And Virgo is all about the next right things, the next right steps, what works, what doesn't, the proper order, laying the proper order in place for things to kind of be correct. And so with Venus here conjunct Mercury in Virgo at the time of this new moon, there could definitely, especially with Mercury being retrograde, there's some revisions that are going on, right, in our relationships, in maybe the money that we're making, or the relationships that we have with people are under revision or under review even. And so that is definitely going on as well. The Mars square, though, that's approaching is not going to be exact. It's not going to come exact. Venus and Mars have already squared. It squared the previous week. Actually, the day that I'm recording this, Venus and Mars are squaring. So they're coming exact today as I'm recording this. And this could definitely be some conflicts, some tension. Venus in Virgo is a little nitpicky, not without reason, but it is. It is what it is. With Mercury here going retrograde, Mercury is strengthening. Even though Mercury is retrograde, because it's in the sign of Virgo, it tends to strengthen the sign anyway, and so it tends to be maybe not as retrograde-y, or maybe it's a little more retrograde-y. It just depends on how it's showing up. But with Venus here, for sure, there's going to be some revisions going on in relationships, and with this new moon specifically being in Libra, it's putting the relationships the way they need to be and changing them up to what is right and what is practical and what's usable, right? So with the opposition to Jupiter, it can blow things out of proportion. There can maybe be I mean, Jupiter's not the worst energy in the world, but it does kind of overblow things. And with Jupiter being in a Mars-ruled sign and Mars squaring both Venus and Mercury and Neptune at this time, the focal point of a T-square, there's definitely some type of communication that's going to come in that could be rather harsh, and, things need to be changed. The thing is that Mars is also, at the time of this new moon, going right for that trine with Saturn, right? Mars is moving forward. Mars will go retrograde here next month. Well, not next month. Sorry, I'm thinking November. I'm thinking we're already in October. We're not in October. So Mars will go retrograde in the sign of Gemini later on in November, the beginning of November. And it will come back around for that second trine with Saturn. But this is kind of an alleviation point where if we can boss up, if we can rely on friends or groups of people, or even an authority figure that is a friend or, what have you, then this can definitely see some things changing, and having the right kind of support that you need in order to have the change that needs to happen and put things in the right order and the proper order. So that is what I have for this new moon. I feel like I repeated myself a million times. Mercury is retrograde, so I do apologize if that happened. I just want to make sure that I hit the point home. But, it does look really nice with Venus and Mercury conjunct in trine with Pluto, in trine with Uranus and the North Node, a little bit by proxy. But yeah, getting very clear about your relationships, doing your due diligence and making sure that the relationships that you have are the right ones for you and will be valuable moving forward. So for Aries and for Aries rising, this new moon is happening in your 7th house, right? But it spans, because these planets are so tightly packed in your 6th and in your 7th house, Mercury retrograde. So because these planets are so tightly packed in your 6th and in your 7th house at the very end and the very beginning of these two houses, you can't really separate what's going on here. There's something with this new moon, either a new beginning or something that's coming to a close, that has to do with work, daily routines, that has to do with maybe contracts for work, or even a partnership in general, just because, it is Venus here in the 6th house. This could be the ending of a partnership that you see on a daily basis. This could be the end of a job. This could be the end of, something going on here for you specifically, and it's going to kind of have you a little heated in your communication with Mars squaring these two planets conjunct and also squaring Neptune at the same time. So it's ratcheting up with Mars coming in, getting close to that exact square with Neptune in just like a week or two here after this new moon. And it's not a fun one. Mars is starting to slow down and things are really starting to heat up in terms of communication and talking about things, maybe harsh words, sour tempers, things like that. With Jupiter in opposition to this new moon and to the planets over in Virgo, things could definitely be blown out of proportion. There could be, a little bit more of intensity, especially because Jupiter is in your sign, so expanding on, your more Martian qualities of impulsiveness or things like that. So, and with Mars transiting through Gemini, there could be a little bit more impulsiveness than there needs to be, or than what is expected, just because it is, it is an air sign. It is very quick, and Mercury is the dispositor of Mars at this point. So there is that going on for Aries rising. The other thing that's going on is there could be some communications with friends, or with groups of people, or even with an authority figure of some kind that's very grounded, very practical. It's for your long-range goals and your long-range plans, Aries, just because, Saturn is in your 11th house. And so they are moving very close to an exact trine, which is really nice energy. But Saturn and Uranus are also moving into as tight of a square as they've been since they came exact last year in 2021. There could be some strange financial things going on. There could be money coming in from group associations or some type of charity or something like that, something weird. Or there could be restrictions going on in terms of your finances and in terms of the money that you were expecting to come in, something like that. So that is what I have. The other thing though too is that Venus and Mercury are in a really nice trine with Pluto in Capricorn. So there's definitely something associated with contracts, agreements, negotiations for work, for what it is that you do on a daily basis, and communicating that, you know, for your career, for what it is that you're doing out in the world. And you can be very, very discerning with this, and with this trine, because Pluto is very much very discerning and very in depth with what's going on. So that is a good thing here, just so you're aware. And so next up, we have Taurus and Taurus rising. So for Taurus and for Taurus rising, you know, this is happening, this new moon is happening in your 6th house of work, of colleagues, of, you know, daily routines and taking care of your health, your wellness, and your well-being. Sorry about the flies. But there's, you know, something going on with this Mercury-Venus conjunction going on in Virgo that could have to do with children, with romance, with hobbies, things that you love to do just because you love to do them. And they could be under revision right now, like the things that you absolutely love to do could be under revision. You could be revising what it is that you decide that you care about enough that you want to do it. Or even revisiting past romantic partners, or revisiting certain, you know, certain colleagues for work. Maybe there was a romance in the office or something like that. There could be revisiting, doing things like that too. But with this new moon specifically, there's something that needs to be let go for a new beginning to happen. And so with this happening in opposition to Jupiter in your 12th house, there could definitely be private conversations that have to do, you know, that are coming through friends or group associations and things like that, where there's going to be a changeover in terms of what it is that's going on at work. There could be some maybe really big, because it is Jupiter, right? Big secrets going on. With Mars in the 2nd house, you know, squaring Neptune, squaring Venus at this time, and, you know, by proxy Mercury, there could definitely be something to do with finances that's being cut away, something that you truly love to do, that you're letting go of, or that you have to let go of. So there could definitely be something like that going on for you specifically. And there is that really nice trine to Uranus in your sign. So things, you know, Venus and Mercury, Venus is making aspects to your sign in, you know, in a really positive trine aspect. And so there's definitely some really discerning things that you can do in terms of like teaching, education, things like that, getting clear on your worldview, getting clear on how you frame reality, maybe even taking, you know, a trip of some kind to somewhere that's really different than what it is that you are used to being. You know, there could definitely be some things going on there, but there's definitely something to do with work, with things that you love to do. There could be kind of overblown things that are going on, maybe even communications that are kind of like, what? What are you talking about? So that's what I have for you. And then for Gemini and Gemini rising, This new moon is happening in your 5th house. So there could definitely be new beginnings in terms of romantic partners. There could be new beginnings with children specifically, maybe even new beginnings because of how close, Venus and Mercury are in conjunction with this new moon. This could be a new beginning on the home front in terms of your children, or a new beginning. Maybe you have a child coming to live with you. That could be a thing as well. But this could also just as well be, taking a hobby and taking it to that next level, because with Mars in your sign, kind of lighting a fire under you, right? Making you a little bit more active and communicative and all these things, squaring Venus and Mercury, and also squaring Neptune in your 11th house, or your 10th house, I should say. There could definitely be some changes that you decide that you want to make in terms of your career or your home and things like that. Hobbies, things that you love to do because you love to do them. Maybe there's something that you need to let go of in order for something new to come in. And with Pluto in a really nice trine, with Mercury and Venus, you could definitely be reshaping your worldview. Or no, I'm sorry, not your worldview, your finances. Reshaping your finances, joint finances, taxes, inheritances, insurances, things like that could be, benefiting you at this time. The trine to Uranus in your sign, this is actually, or in your 12th house, this could definitely be really shocking revelations, either shocking dreams. There could be maybe flashes of insight, maybe even with the North Node here, like a trip to hospital, or quick escape from the world and going somewhere where you can recharge and kind of take care of yourself, and figure out what you need in terms of body care, because this is Taurus. So there could definitely be some things going on there for you like that. I think I touched on Mars, in your sign, firing you up, getting you fired up specifically, and this new moon happening in your 5th house with Venus and Mercury in your 4th. I mean, it's not the worst in the world. Mars is in a really nice trine with Saturn in your 9th house, so there could definitely be some long range travel plans, or maybe even education of some kind, whether or not this is you teaching or you deciding to go back to school, or to learn something specifically that maybe even has an occult slant, whether it be magic, astrology, tarot, things like that. Definitely could be a thing for Gemini. And then for Cancer and for Cancer rising, this new moon is happening in your 4th house, right? So there's definitely this kind of crazy push-pull thing that's going on with Jupiter in your 10th and this new moon happening in your 4th house. So there's a new beginning on the home front for you, maybe even a place or a property or a community or something like that that you need to let go of in order to move into the space that you want to move into. There could even be like a move itself where, because Jupiter does rule your 9th house and Jupiter is in your 10th house, there could be a move that you decide that you're going to make and you're gone. With Venus and Mercury conjunct in your 3rd house, this could definitely be moving communities or jumping communities in some way, shape, or form. This could also be vehicles as well. With the square to Mars, in your 12th house, I would dare say just be careful of maybe some hidden kind of conversations, or maybe some self-sabotage, or some like having to go to hospital rather quickly for some type of acute inflammation, maybe to do with like a car accident, or maybe to do with something to do with a vehicle, or even like cutting yourself or burning yourself. And it's going to be acute, it's going to be intense, and having to go to hospital for that with that T-square. So just be aware of that. Watch out for the digits, watch out for the fingers, watch out for the extremities. With Pluto in a really nice trine with Venus and Mercury in, you know, in your 7th house. This could definitely be conversations to do in partnership, or to do with one-to-one partnerships, or people that you associate with, people that you like business partners, or spouses even. There's some type of really nice energy going on there. For Mars too, Mars is definitely moving towards that nice trine with Saturn, and Saturn is in your 8th house. So if you've been feeling kind of like restricted in terms of, you know, joint finances or money coming in through other people, there could definitely be some, you know, something going on behind the scenes, I would say, with this Mars there too in trine with Saturn, for kind of like negotiations or something like that, or maybe even money that's owed, or something going on there in terms of contracts and money. Yeah, so that's a thing too. And the trine to Uranus and the North Node, you know, in your 11th house with Venus and Mercury, this could be really nice for, you know, groups of people, friend associations, even communicating with friends, or, you know, talking it out with friends and things like that. And it could definitely be beneficial for you. Okay, that is what I have for Cancer. And then for Leo and for Leo rising, sorry guys, this is turning out to be a longer one than I intended. There's just a lot going on in the astrology. This new moon in Libra for Leo is happening in your 3rd house. So there could be something there, I mean, 3rd and 9th house, there could definitely be an oppositional force in terms of, you know, your communication, what you're speaking to every single day, or who you're speaking to. You know, your chart ruler is here in the 3rd house, so your focus is on communication. Your focus is on communication, even small business. If you own a small business, this could definitely be a new beginning here for your small business, but it's going to be at odds with something going on in your 9th house. There could definitely be maybe your viewpoint is changing. It's not the worst, you know, an opposition to Jupiter is not the worst, but Jupiter does rule your 8th house of joint finances, so there could definitely be some money things going on there too, in terms of education or educational pursuits as well. So there's definitely a need to kind of balance what's going on there with Venus and Mercury being conjunct at the end degrees of Virgo for you, and this new moon happening at the beginning degrees of Libra. You can't really separate these from the sky. So it's putting things in the proper order, getting your money situated, getting your finances in order, making sure that you're doing your due diligence and all of that. And this could be money and whatnot that has to do with your career too, just because it is Venus, and Venus does rule your 10th house. You know, Mercury does rule your 2nd house of money, but Mercury also rules your 11th house of group associations. So there's definitely some things that are going on here in terms of letting go of one in order for something new to come in, or a new beginning, or something that's being turned over for you. Sorry guys, the kids brought home cruddy stuff, so mama always gets it. So the thing that we have too in your 6th house, we do have a trine to Pluto from Venus and Mercury conjunction, and it's a really nice one. Trines to Pluto are nice. It's very diligent, very focused, and especially like these are money houses for you, Leo. The 2nd and the 6th house these are money houses. This is, you know, how you work for your money, what you spend your money on, and what you're doing every single day to make money. Even your health, your wellness, your well-being, right? There could definitely be something that needs to be looked at a deeper level with Pluto here in trine and having to spend money on it as well. You do have, you know, the T-square to Mars is forming. It's active. Something is going to be cut out in terms of your group associations, your friends. Maybe a friend is going to be cut out of your life, or there could be You know, finances are definitely a thing here involved, yours and other people's, because of that Neptune in your 8th house. There could be some confusion about what's going on maybe with a spouse's resources, and you're really confused about it and you don't understand what's going on with it, and things need to be put in the proper order. Or you could be confusing your spouse with your finances, you know what I mean? It can work both ways. But with Mars here in square, there's definitely, you know, some heated words, heated things going on, you know, and like long range goals and plans could be put the kibosh to, depending on what else is going on in your chart. With Mars in a really nice, moving into that really nice trine with Saturn, there's definitely some really nice things going on in terms of contracts, agreements, and negotiations. With Saturn here in the 7th house for you, there's been a restriction on your relationships, your one-to-ones. It's getting clear, getting getting diligent. Maybe if you're not married, but you're seeing someone, you decide to either tie the knot or, you know, let it fall apart. If you're married, it could be that you're deciding to recommit yourself to your partner, or, you know, go the other way. You know, it's anybody's guess at this point, depending on how your chart is set up. But with that trine to Mars in the 11th house, there's definitely some really nice things going on in terms of like group associations or social contracts, you know, with someone that you want to align yourself with by choice. So that's definitely something for Leo and Leo rising. I think I covered everything for Leo. And so now we're going to go to Virgo and Virgo rising. Specifically Virgo, this really affects you and your finances. So there's something that needs to be let go in terms of your finances. And there could be even something going on, Virgo, in terms of joint finances, you know, inheritances, taxes, insurances, things like that are kind of like being overblown. Maybe you're getting yourself more into debt for the purchase. I would even say like this could be the purchase of a property for you, because you have Jupiter rules your 7th house of contracts. It's in your 8th house of debt, and it also rules your 4th house of property and home. Sorry guys, ooh, that sun is moving. And so there could definitely be like, this could be a new beginning in terms of, you know, you are purchasing a property. Now with Venus and Mercury, you know, Mercury does rule your 10th house, Venus does rule your 9th and your 2nd. So this could very well be you deciding that you're going to purchase a property that's further afield than what you thought, or maybe even purchasing a property that is bigger than what you thought. That could definitely be something going on here. There's a need, though, to let go of something to do with finances in order to gain something, right? I mean, that's just how it is with new moons. You give up something to get something. You're releasing something, letting something go that's no longer valuable, that's no longer serving you, that's no longer applicable to what it is that you're trying to do, in order to move forward into something that is going to be more worthwhile for you. Just be careful. You could be getting into more debt than what you think, especially with Jupiter in the 8th house. So just be aware of that as well. With Mars in a T-square, you know, this is happening in your 10th from your 1st and your 7th. So there could definitely be some really confusing, even some arguments, disputes, and what have you, you know, in terms of your career, your public standing, your public reputation, how it is that you're known out in the world, and your partnerships and you, right? So there's definitely something that's going to be cut out, because Mars is a cutting planet. It does separate things. When, you know, Venus is trying to harmonize those monetary forces for you. So that is what I have for you specifically. That sun is really bright. For Libra and for Libra rising, this new moon is happening in your sign, Libra. So there could be, you know, a new beginning in terms of, you know, you and what you're doing and what you want, and all areas of your life can be affected from this new moon. The fact that Mercury is in your 12th house, it's the natural ruler of your 12th house, because you have Virgo as your 12th house, and Venus, you know, is your chart ruler. It's also your 8th house ruler as well of joint finances. This could even be a secret loan, I would say, like a secret loan that has to do with education even, or something, or a conversation that you're having in secret, or this could even be like a hospital visit or something like that. With Mars in square, why are those lines there? I'm sorry. That bugs me. With Venus, with Mars in square with Venus and Mercury, and forming a T-square with Neptune, there could definitely be some heated discussions in terms of like your viewpoints, your worldview, or how you frame reality around you. And so that could definitely be a thing. There could be maybe your partner is traveling or something like that. That could be a thing too. Mars is coming into that really nice trine with Saturn, and that is happening in your 5th house of children, of romance, of fun, of play, of joy. So there could definitely be some action being taken. Even like 9th house also has associations with lawyers too, so just be aware of that. So there could definitely be something going on in terms of like lawyering up or doing something like that that has to do with children, or has to do with home or something like that. Sorry, everyone. Goodness gracious. With with Venus and Mercury in a really nice trine with Pluto, this is happening in your 4th house. So there could even be like secret conversations going on about what's going to be completely transformed on the home front. And that could definitely be a thing here for you. There could even be, like with that Mars too, I do want to go back to Mars. With Mars being in the 9th house, there could be money being spent on specifically like travel plans or educational plans or something like that too. I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, that trine from Venus and Mercury conjunction to Pluto, that's a really nice one for you. And for Scorpio and for Scorpio rising, hold on, Scorpio, sorry about that. I don't know if I'm going to have time to edit these and edit out all these little coughs that I'm doing. But so for Scorpio and for Scorpio rising, this new moon is happening in your 12th house. So this is a hidden house for you. This could be a new beginning in your spiritual practice, or if you have a spiritual business specifically, this could be something to do with that as well. But it could just be a new beginning in terms of like this new moon. The moon is dark, right? Even though the sun is highlighting your 12th house, this could be good for you in terms of like getting enough sleep, having getting enough sleep and doing all that. With it being in opposition, though, to Jupiter, I would dare say, because Jupiter is, in your 6th house of daily routines, you could be really super busy. And so this opposition between the new moon in Libra and Jupiter in Aries in your 6th house, maybe you've bitten off more than you can chew in terms of like what it is that you're doing on the daily basis, and you're going to burn yourself out and you're going to need to take a rest. With Mars in your 8th house, I would dare say making a square to Venus and Mercury in your 11th house. There could definitely be something that needs to be cut out in terms of joint finances or taxes, inheritances, insurances, and things like that. That needs to be cut out. And it's not going to feel good with this T-squared with Mars forming, because Mars is definitely not the nicest planet. And so, yeah, there could definitely be joint finances that need to be cut out. There could be, debt maybe that needs to be put the kibosh to, or something like that. With Venus here ruling your 12th house, there's definitely, something that maybe like some type of self-sabotage or something like that, or maybe even, did I say Mercury? No, Mercury rules your 11th house. Goodness gracious, this Mercury retrograde needs to be done. That's all I'm going to say. I am mincing my words and I am confusing myself as I talk. That's how it works, guys. That's how it works. So with, Venus-Mercury conjunction, and this new moon, like they are so close in the sky, you can't really differentiate between what's going on in one sign per the other. They're all mashed up together. And so there's definitely some new beginnings in terms of like even your spiritual practice, but there could be new beginnings with your friends or with your friends group or with group associations or people you associate yourself with. But it's it's going to be intense in the moment and maybe bring up some old traumas, old fears, old wounds. And it's not going to feel good in the moment. And it could affect, you know, how it is that you're expressing yourself. It could affect the things that you really care about in terms of like the hobbies or hobbies or routines. Goodness gracious. Yeah, the hobbies or routines, because Jupiter and Neptune are in Pisces and Aries. So there could definitely be, you know, a cutting away of something in order to be able to focus more on what it is that you want to do on a daily basis, something that brings you joy, something that makes you happy. That could be a thing. And with Venus and Mercury in trine with Pluto in your third house, this could definitely be communications coming in through group associations, having really nice, deep, very profound and transformative conversations with friends or with groups of people. With Mars in trine with Saturn in your fourth house, I mean, this could definitely be this Mars energy. I mean, this is your chart ruler in the 8th house, so you yourself could be feeling a little on edge, especially with Pluto stationing. That's a thing for Scorpio risings. But with Mars in trine with Saturn, like this is very clear. Maybe you find a property and you're not ready to talk about it, but you're working on getting the finances together with your partner in order to purchase said property or to make renovations to a house that you currently own or to redo something on the home front, and it's going to cost maybe a little bit more than what you expected. That could be something for Scorpio and Scorpio rising. For Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, you know, this new moon is happening in your 11th house. This is nice for you. You know, Venus and Mercury mashed up together with this new moon at the end degrees of Virgo, because this new moon is at the beginning degrees of Libra. You can't really separate the two. So having Venus and Mercury together at the time of this new moon with the new moon means that these two houses are really going to be affected. Your career, your public standing, your public reputation, your group associations and who you associate with are going to be affected. There could be a need, though, with Mars in the 7th house to cut out some type of partnership, agreement, negotiation, and it's not going to feel good in the moment because it could have associations with the home or someone on the home front. You know, that could be, or it could be, let's see. Yeah, it could be even a friend. You're going to have to let go of a friend or a partnership or something like that. Or revise a partnership, maybe have some different boundaries, because with that opposition to Neptune, there could be some boundary issues going on. But with the new moon, particularly in your 11th house, in opposition to Jupiter, like Jupiter as your chart ruler, you know, in your 5th house, you want to have fun, you want to play, you want to express how you want to express, and you want to do it now. However, there's some things that need to be taken care of first, right? And that has to do with your group associations. That has to do with the friends that you associate with. That has to do with your career and your public standing and your public reputation. So there's something that definitely needs to be put to proper order, something maybe that does need to end in terms of partnerships, or even like a romantic boyfriend-girlfriend interlude kind of thing that needs to be cut out of your life. Or some type of partnership, agreement, or negotiation that needs to be cut out. And that could be a thing. With Venus and Mercury up here in your 10th house, in trine with Pluto in your 2nd house, your finances with this new moon could take a completely different turn than what you were expecting, but it's not a bad thing. This could actually be really good for your wallet, for your money and materials as well. With with Venus and Mercury also in this really nice trine with Uranus in your 6th house, like you could be changing things up on your daily. You could be getting a different job, getting a new job, doing something really fun and exciting and things like that. So that could definitely be a thing for you too. With Mars in your 7th house in trine with Saturn in your 3rd house, this could definitely be very heavy, very grounded, very long-lasting conversations that have to do with, you know, with partnership or in partnership. There's a gravity here with Saturn in the 3rd, but it's in trine with Mars in the 7th. So there could definitely be some very very heated conversations, but they're needed, and they're going to be very grounded in tangible reality with Saturn involved. So there is that. And then for Capricorn and for Capricorn rising, this new moon is happening in your 10th house, Capricorn. This is really nice for you in terms of your public reputation, what it is that you're known for out in the world, you know, what you're known as out in the world. Maybe there's something that you're letting go of and you're beginning something brand new. And because Venus and Mercury are so tight in the sky with this new moon, even though it spans the two different signs, they're mashed up together. So this new beginning in career could have something to do with education. It could have something to do with teaching or public speaking, or it could have something to do with publishing, or it could have something to do with travel, or it could have something to do with maybe even going back to college. So if that's something that's applicable to you, that could be what's happening for you. And it's got a really nice trine to Pluto in the 1st house. So you yourself are being very diligent, very thorough, very diving into the depths of it and understanding the bowels of what's going on here with this worldview that you have, or with this new thing that's going on in terms of your career or teaching or publishing or things like that. The thing is that there is Mars in your 6th house. So there could definitely be, as there's this new beginning, there could be a colleague, a coworker being cut out of your work, if that's applicable to you, or there could be arguments or disputes going on in the workplace. You know, or things that are really confusing in terms of communications that are going on with the workplace. There could even be like, I mean, the 6th house is also your health, so there could be acute body inflammations. Watch out for cutting your fingers, watch out for, you know, cuts and scrapes and burns and things like that. So just be aware and be careful of that. With the trine that Mars is making though to Saturn, this bodes well for your work and your money. So you could definitely be that sun is getting really bright. Sorry guys. There could definitely be, you know, some very long-lasting way of you making your money that is showing up for you, and it's coming in rather quickly, especially with Mars being in the mix, right? But it's something that is really good for you because, you know, it is a trine and it's really nice energy, and I would seize hold of it if I were you. And then, of course, you know, we do have the trine to Uranus and the North Node from Venus and Mercury in your 5th house of things that light you up, that bring you joy, that you're passionate about, your romantic partnerships, things like that. So, I mean, you could also be meeting someone that is, you know, foreign to you, or meeting someone that is kind of like a love affair kind of thing, or boyfriend, girlfriend kind of energy. So just so you're aware. Okay, and that is Capricorn. And then for Aquarius and for Aquarius rising, this new moon is happening in your 9th house. There's something new that's going on in terms of maybe even, I would dare say, a joint venture, right? Because the sun rules your 7th house, the moon rules your 6th house, and it's mashed up with Venus and Mercury in your 8th house of other people and other people's money. So maybe you are working with other people to teach something, or a joint venture, joint finance, maybe even taking out a loan or getting money coming in through teaching. And that has to do with sharing money with others. With this opposition to Jupiter, so there could be, there could be some like really big communications, or maybe even an overabundance of communication coming in from your friends about this joint venture, or about this new educational pursuit that you're going after, or this is teaching, this is publishing, this is travel. Like there could definitely be some things going on here, and it's not bad for the wallet either, I would dare say. Especially because Jupiter also rules your second house of finances. So there could be, some communication of money coming in as well. And then with Venus and Mercury in trine with Pluto, this is like, these two houses, the 8th and the 12th, are hidden houses. They're considered malefic houses. They're houses of endings. But there could definitely be an end to an old fear of working with other people, or getting finances through other people, or even getting finances through an institution of some kind. Like that could be coming to an end, or there's an easy flow of money that comes in, from an outside source that is, you don't really know where it's coming from, but you get the money and it's all good. Let's see. What else did I not talk about? Oh, there is a T-square, though, between your 8th house, your 5th house, and your 2nd house. So there could be, a romantic partnership, a love affair, something maybe that you love to do just because you love to do it, and that there's something that needs to be cut out. There's something that needs to be cut away here. In order to really get this new beginning in terms of your joint finances, in terms of your teaching, publishing, what it is that you're doing here in the 9th house for this new beginning. And then Venus and Mercury are in trine with Uranus as well, not just Pluto, but also Uranus and the North Node by proxy. So definitely, this could be money on the home front. This could be, wild changes going on the home front, or shocking changes going on the home front. Somebody moving in, somebody moving out, anything like that. But it's going to offer money, I would say, just because the 8th house is also a money house. So that is what I have for you, Aquarius. And then finally for Pisces and Pisces rising, get out of the direct line of the sun. For Pisces and for Pisces rising, this new moon is happening in your 8th house. So there's something going on with your joint finances that has to do with your partnerships. Maybe your partner is doing something brand new, and it's going to bring in more finances for them. This could be, having to let go of old fear, old traumas, old wounds that have to do with partnership, that have to do with, right? Because Venus, Mercury, the sun, and the moon are all conjunct. Even though they're in different signs, they're still mashed together in the sky right now. And so it spans both. So there is definitely a new beginning in terms of your partnerships, what your partner is doing. And contracts, agreements, and negotiations. This could even have to do with money. This could have to do with even finances for the home, or finances in the home could definitely be a thing here. As well as like communication through partnership of new finances coming in from an outside source, whether or not this is your partner or just a client of some kind. That could be going on. But Jupiter is your chart ruler, and it's in your 2nd house. So your focus is really on your finances, on the things that you value and the things that you want. And it could be a little bit disruptive, especially with the T-square forming between, Mars in Mars in your 4th house, Neptune in your 1st, and then Venus and Mercury in your 7th. There's definitely something that's going to be cut away in terms of like something on the home front. Maybe somebody moving out of the home or something like that could be applicable for you, for sure, depending on how your chart is set up. But the other thing is that Saturn is in your 12th house, and it's in a really nice trine with Mars and in the 4th house. So there's definitely maybe some support coming from behind the scenes in terms of what's going on the home front. and what's going on there. There could be behind the scenes support for you specifically. And that is actually what I have for you for this new moon in Libra. So I do hope that everyone benefits from this. I hope everyone gets value out of this, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.